Hello. I don't know if this video is going to go well. I don't know if it may, in fact, might not turn out how I want to, but I figured that I would go outside and speak to you about what's been going on. Most people don't see the posts. I do regularly, post on YouTube just so, the few people that do interact with that can be updated a bit earlier before I have the, vocal words and what I actually want to say in the video on. Yap. Lots happened the past couple of, I guess, at the very least, like 2 to 3 weeks now. Quite a lot of good, surprisingly. When I posted that video, I started to go for walks a lot more often. Obviously, it helped with keeping my mind clear, at least somewhat. And then, out of the blue, all of a sudden, it got a lot better. And for starters, I was able to go and see the movies near the end of 2025. Went and saw the FNAF 2 movie. I actually enjoyed it despite the flaws, like the first one. Again, those movies aren't perfect, by the way, far from it, but I do enjoy them. Then we had, in Christmas, we had a family dinner and vice versa. It was the closest thing I've had to something like that ever since, family shit. Then I went to a bar. I'm not an alcoholic, believe it or not. I don't really drink beer or wine or vice versa. I just do not care for this stuff. So I just had a Coke, and which was nice. Had a couple of glasses of that, and then I think around about 8 o'clock, I had tea. I had a chicken palmy with some garlic and cheese pizza. It was a small-ish pizza, but still, it was really fucking good. All of that was the span of, again, 2 weeks, which is insane, and it's brought quite a lot of clarity about my decision. First and foremost, I still fully hate the age verification stuff, as well as the social media ban here, specifically in Australia. This will be the final time I'll ever mention this topic, because I'm so done. It is a depressing topic. Yes, it is relevant, I agree, but I'm not a drama channel, and I don't want to be, to be honest. And because of times like this, I feel like it is quite important to still make these videos if I can. Just if there's a chance that I might be able to make someone's day even just a little bit more bearable, then I think that's a worthwhile endeavor, at least in my opinion. So, I think you could guess what this is about. I've changed my decision. I'm not going to be leaving. We are going back to the initial plan of properly leaving YouTube only until the final chapter of Deltarune comes out. I don't know how many years that will take. I don't know. I would assume at least 3. It could be more than that. I'm not sure. But I want to end things off my way. I don't want to leave my channel because of some real world bullshit, I want to leave it how I want to and not let the world's problems affect that. So yeah, I think that's my final call on the matter. And yeah, I believe it or not, mentally, it's been fucking great. As I said, the past couple of weeks just have really helped my mental state a lot more than I was expecting. Sometimes, just like negativity, it comes out of nowhere. You don't really plan for this shit. When you try to, it usually doesn't work. That goes for positive stuff as well. Like, the most impactful positive stuff in your life happens absolutely randomly, like RNG. And, you know, those small... in truth, compared to probably most... those experiences probably are quite minuscule compared to most people. But I was in a pretty dark place those past couple of months because of the age verification stuff, because that has been going on for months now at this point. And even before that, I had a lot of obviously I've always had insecurities, but I think it was especially bad last year. I was just not comfortable with being around this, you know, people seeing this. And it affected the stuff that I made, and I don't know, to be honest, I think that's always been there, at least 2 years straight. It's always been there. I've always had problems with, you know, self-value and self-love and vice versa, because I don't think any of that is fucking natural. It's intentional. So it is a difficult process to go through, actually making those steps to, you know, mentally be kind to myself, a lot more kinder than I am, which is almost zero a lot of the time. But because of those small little experiences I've had recently, I think I'm finally getting there, honestly. And I think the big one, like, was the walk to the bar. It was a pretty big walk. Most of it was a straight line, truth be told. And that was pretty fucking aggravating for my entire body, but it was worth it. And plus, I did need to burn some off the big tea that I did have. That wasn't the craziest part. I have a lot of social anxiety. It's one of the biggest problems I face, and even to this very day, I still have it. But when I went to that bar and I was surrounded by a lot of those people, something crazy just sort of happened with my brain. I realized that I wasn't as afraid anymore. Like, it was almost completely gone. Granted, you know, I still have, like, communication issues sometimes. You know, I'm not very outgoing. Someone else has to jumpstart a conversation before I'm actually putting in the effort to, you know, connect with someone. That's something I might need to work on in the future. But just the fact that I wasn't so damn scared about at least 40 to 50 people being in that bar is quite insane to me, because I've had those social anxieties for at least ever since 2018. Because a lot changed, man. A lot changed at that time. I wasn't able to fully process all of it, you know. We moved to 2 places in the span of only 2 years, and it's only up until 2020 that we eventually got to a place that we are now permanently staying at. Okay, so I can't switch the camera, but yeah, this is the view. That's been like what's been helping me sort of think about this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's already been 10 minutes, Jesus Christ. It may not feel like a whole lot of progress has happened, but I think I finally realised that I'm actually am improving, and it feels good. It sucks that I've had to suffer so much to get to a point like this. It sucks that I've even had these problems to begin with. I wish the circumstances and the conditioning and even my own mistakes didn't all build up into something that feels very tangled. And it's been very difficult for me to figure a lot of this stuff out. Even with the amount of free time that I have, it's quite a monster. But I'm getting there, and I think that's the main thing. I don't know if my father would be proud. There's a part of me that wants to say that he would be, but I knew what he was like. I don't know if he would have been proud, even despite the progress I've made here. I'm not sure. But I can only hope that he is proud of me right now, and yeah. I still miss him. I think losing someone to suicide it's something that you can't really properly move on from. I still really miss him. And it's been a big motivator as well to keep myself together, to not make that decision that he made, make the same decision, that he made. Because I know for a damn well fact that isn't the solution. It never is. So it's been difficult, and I've been pushed. I've been pushed quite a few times on the edge, but I still hung on to the cliff. Because maybe it's spite, maybe it's wanting to prove myself wrong, wanting to prove, I guess, to some degree, my dad wrong, to show that there is a reason to live despite the world that we are living in right now, that you can find that reason and that it isn't impossible to find it. I don't know what the true motivator behind it all of it is, because I think it's a bunch of different things, to be honest, but we're all flawed, sadly. Not everyone likes to see it. Most people don't want to see it. Most people cringe at it. Most people want to pretend like we're all perfect, and anyone that shows any sense of vulnerability or fallenness, people cringe at it. I don't usually spit my guts out nowadays when it comes to YouTube, because I've been there, done that, I've been through it all, and I have mentioned this stuff in the past on my channel, about some of the stuff that I've gone through, but the fuck? Traffic. I figured that now is probably a good time to just come out and say what I've been kind of been avoiding to even talk about for a good while now. This will most likely be the last time I talk about my personal life on this much on a video, because I don't like to, believe it or not. I think the stuff that I've gone through, it sucked. Even before all of it transpired, there were signs that the way I grew up wasn't great. The fact that I lived at a very small harbour with only 11 houses, no people that were around my age that had similar interests. I was born into isolation. How the hell can you blame someone for being like that? I don't think you truly can, to be honest. As I said, backgrounds really do matter when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I don't necessarily fully blame myself for what the environment that I grew up in, right? And, it's been also a constant struggle to trust people, considering the stuff that I see nowadays is fucking quite terrible. And I've had my own personal experiences to make me trust a lot less. It sucks. How can you trust people that you don't even fucking know? That's the struggle, isn't it? But it's better, I at least in my opinion, a lot of people like to say that it's better to be alone, but honestly, I couldn't disagree more. This is coming from someone that has spent almost his entire life isolated. It's not, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, man. It's not good. Some of the happiest moments in my life has been with friends, has been around people, sharing experiences, and talking. That is legitimately the happiest that I am, is talking to other people. I don't know what that says about me, but it transcends video games for me. The enjoyment that I get actually talking with people is unmatched. Which hurts even more when I don't have the opportunity to talk to that many people because of my own bullshit, insecurities, circumstances, the way I grew up, vice versa. I don't know how this is going to be edited, by the way, but I figured that I'd start off the year with something a bit more genuine and coming from the guts, I guess. I think it's pretty obvious when I'm sure there's people that are overweight that still find confidence in themselves, that still love themselves for who they are. I won't lie though, almost everyone that I've met that's in the same boat as me usually a lot of the time has some insecurities tied to your body. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, that also has an effect on what I make, what I do, the lack of webcams for my videos. That is literally the main reason why I don't use them anymore, for the most part, because I don't feel that comfortable with it. This self-sabotaging thing that I've been just beating myself pretty much relentlessly since 2018 needs to fucking stop. It's never helped. A lot of the people that take advantage of it are fucking dickheads. They think they can get away with something like that. They've gotten too used to not getting beat up for it. Yeah, I'm being genuine. I seriously believe that. They've became way too fucking just comfortable with being dickheads without any consequences, because there's pretty much no consequences on the internet other than unless you're a really, really bad person. But when it comes to people that are just dickheads to strangers, there's no real consequences for it. You just do it and then you move on. You treat that person like a fucking object and that's it. It's insane. Another fucking reason why I'm walking nowadays, social media sucks. Bluntly. There are some, I guess, positive things about it, but I won't lie to you, man. It's the worst part of the internet, 100%. Anything else that you can think of is a lot less bad compared to social media as a whole. It has contributed to quite a lot of bad, and I actually think it's contributed to us being way more dickheadish and just not good people, and regulating that and making it a normal thing, normalizing it. It's not been great. I truly think for the most part it's only hurt humanity, despite the fact that that sounds like a boomer's take on shit, you know. As I said, I don't think all of it's bad, but I would gladly, if I had the choice, I'd gladly get rid of social media if I had the power to do that. It probably would benefit quite a lot of people. It would also do the reverse. Some people really do rely on that to connect to other people, and it's the only way for them to connect with friends and vice versa. So I get that as well. But yeah, I never valued... I mean, friends that I've known that move a long way away and I still connect them via online, that's a different story. But when it comes to pure friendships that are only online, I've never valued that kind of connection. It's something that I probably will never get used to, because it's still lonely, you know, at the end of the day. For me, I would much rather have more actual real people around that I can properly visit and vice versa than, you know, have more people on social media, social media friends, you know. That's just me though. I wouldn't have gotten this far. I wouldn't have turned into the person that I am if it wasn't for the circumstances, if it wasn't for the struggles. And for that, I am grateful. But when I see everyone that genuinely has more stable families than mine, thing is, the loneliness that I experience on a daily basis wouldn't be so bad if that family stuff didn't happen. And still to this very day, that void is never going to be truly filled. It was like losing everyone at once for me, and it felt worse than losing my father, which is crazy to admit, but there's not a whole lot of people left that I can call family. By blood, there's only 2 people. And it's sad. That's how the cookie crumbles. Not all of us are lucky, you know. And, you know, I'm not alone in those struggles, you know. So if you've came here for the first time, welcome. But if you actually did stay throughout the entirety of this segment, thank you. It means a lot to me. People just know, like, a lot of people, whether they want to or not, their brain likes to care way too much about what other people think of you. The judgments that they make, offhand comments, you know. Sometimes it hurts because it's true, but a lot of the time they say that shit to hide their own insecurities. You know, if someone confronted them about that shit, they would act the exact same way a lot of the time. The reality is, man, everyone wants to one-up themselves in terms of the moral high ground bullshit, you know. People want to be better than each other. It's the kind of the antithesis of humanity as a whole. Competition. And it exists literally everywhere, not just games, not just work, but morality, you know. And I don't use this word lightly, but it is kind of a cancer. We are forced to care so much about what other people think of us for our own turmoil, for their own entertainment. And we are sort of just conditioned to take it like a champ. To just sit there and let it happen. To treat it as fact. All of it. But while some of it may be true sometimes, drowning in it doesn't help you either. In real life, people don't care nearly as much about that kind of shit. They actually keep that shit to themselves a lot of the time because they don't have the balls to say it. Some people are brutally honest, and that's why a lot of people respect them that are brutally honest in real life because you can trust them fully. It's the kind of trust that only comes from those kinds of people, but most of the time, people are genuinely nice enough to just keep that shit to themselves, right? But no, because of the internet and social media, you're constantly bombarded with judgments without those people that are making those judgments looking upon themselves and failing to do that. And what you get is a bunch of assholes just roaming around the internet like they're the plague. And you just kind of have to deal with it. And it sucks. I've seen quite a lot of comments in my day that I've I've never commented and replied to them, but I've seen a lot of bad shit, man. Most people have. But, you know, it's rare when someone ticks me off so much that I actually do respond. And, yeah. Because it doesn't do anything. Those people will continue to stay in their fucking little bubble thinking that they're fucking correct. Maybe it's ironic that I'm saying all this shit considering my own circumstances, but it's a pet peeve of mine that's been sort of there for quite a while. People take what those kinds of people say way too seriously, and the consequences of that are sometimes people like me that barely have any confidence, barely have any love for themselves, and absolutely hates themselves and will find any moment to just shit on ourselves in any given moment if it's appropriate because it's how we truly feel. But if you're one of those people, take it from a nobody like me. You gotta stop worrying about that for your own sake. It's only going to drive you fucking insane. It's only going to drive you mad. The constant judgments are exhausting. Sometimes it's warranted, truth be told. Like, you don't just completely ignore it all, but if you're like me, make sure to filter that stuff. You don't... Well, I doubt most people truly deserve that kind of judgment. Comparing oneself to another is always a recipe for disaster, especially when it comes to making content on YouTube. But it is especially true in real life as well. I hope you don't let those flaws consume you like it has done to me for so long. It might still continue to do so. I'm not sure. But I am trying. And I hope that you continue to try as well. I don't know if anyone will see this. I don't know if anyone will bother to watch the whole thing. But I seriously mean it. It's cliche, but there is truly too much hatred in this world, and people are starting to get sick of it. People are starting to not be able to take any of it anymore, and it kind of shows. And it's only getting worse as well. But once you view it as just noise or a circus, suddenly it becomes a lot less fucking meaningful. Suddenly it becomes a lot less serious, and it starts to become something that is honestly kind of pathetic. Which sounds pretty much the same, let's be real, but there is a slight difference in that. The difference is that you could probably laugh at those kinds of people that do it. Quite a lot of it. Look, I'll be honest as well. I'm not fucking, as I said, I'm not perfect. I've had my history, my fair share of being a toxic bastard on the internet. That was my teen years. So, yeah. I don't really do any of that anymore unless a truly massive asshole irks me in some specific way that I want to respond, even if I know for a fact that it's not going to do anything to change their minds about how they behave. It is what it is, man. You got to keep on living and don't let this bullshit, world events, your own personal struggles, people's judgments of you, if those people are making you not, or of those circumstances, whatever you name it, if those things are making you not want to live, you deserve so much better than that, mate. We all do. But we are instead kind of conditioned to take it like it's true. Sometimes it is, but a lot of it can be just summarized by someone, again, hiding their own insecurities behind that. So you miss you miss out on a lot of other stuff as well, granted. You may not care as much about this, right? But you miss out on a lot of stuff if you decide to make that permanent decision. I don't want to come across as, I don't want to come across as someone that is, shitting on you for thinking about that kind of stuff, because I do get it. And it is your call to make, but I would, at the very least, if there's anyone out there that is even remotely seeing my videos that are thinking about that kind of stuff, to at least think about what you're missing out on if you make a decision like that. Because I think it makes sense why I care so much about that kind of topic, because as I said, I've lost my father. I lost my dad because of it. A lot of people say that it's a selfish decision to make. I mean, yes, but it's also quite equally as selfish to dismiss all the reasons that they've had to make a decision like that, and to make, not make fun of them for it, but I think you get what I mean, to belittle them for it, almost, in a sense. It never helps. All of the time, it just makes it worse. If you're still thinking about that kind of stuff, yes, please think it through. But I get it. Not everyone gets lucky. Not everyone has a kind life. There's quite a lot of people out there that are going through it. And I don't really have the right to judge what is worth it to them or not. Whether life is worth it to them or not. It's ultimately, and it always is, up to you. I hope that doesn't imply that I'm advocating for it as well. As I said, no judgment. We have too much of that in the world already. So, yeah. All right, that's it. The 40 minutes. 40 minutes. I hope to fucking God I'm able to cut this down to a reasonable size once I put it on my editing software when we start the series in February. I guess that's it. Hopefully to a better year, to a fresher year, and I hope you look forward to the content, because there is quite a few things that I am looking forward to playing. New chapter of Deltarune, of course, Boneworks, of course, and this series, Shimigami, and maybe more. Woohoo! Well, I'm gonna go and walk the rest of the way, because this track is actually pretty long, and yeah, I'm gonna do my daily walk usually, and yeah, take care.